Hello everybody and welcome to one more video on big units. This time it's a German infantry corps for the year of 1916 and a few add-ons also. All this according to the recently arrived Great War Spearhead 2 rules book by Sean Taylor. In the end of the book there are some very nice organizations which I'm trying to follow best I can, and also with the help of this book, the World War I source book by Thornthwaite, which is quite nice also. And of course, you can find plenty of information also on the internet and in many other books. But these are the ones I'm for now more close to. So what you have here is the previous infantry division, 1914-15, with the Airfix figures and Revell figures equipped with Pickelhaube helmets. The Pickelhaube helmets on the Revell figures were made by in resin and copied from the Airfix ones. You still have here the division and also the artillery that was attached to it. So what I did now for this second division, and in order to complete the corps, was to add a fourth battalion of 75mm guns here. Besides the 115mm battalion with crew with Stahlhelm, I added one more with sorry, these ones are with Pickelhaube. Sorry, I added one more with Stahlhelm. I also added a battalion of sorry, a few stands of anti-tank artillery pieces, 21 centimeter mortar. I added the mortars and the Granatwerfers for both divisions. A battalion of Stoßtruppen here. In fact, for the year of 1916, these guys should be distributed by the regiments, but I bunched them more for the 1916-18 years, in which they were used as in mass and in big groups. And there's also a Jaeger battalion. So this is the things I added to the corps. Also some command stands for the corps and some artillery, anti-aircraft artillery, SPs, if I can call it. World War One. Still, of course, there are some captured British tanks and some aircraft over there. So, this is the organization of the corps. So, 2 divisions, 6 regiments, 18 battalions. Sorry, Jaeger battalion and Stoßtruppen units. Artillery is at the moment with 2 battalions of 150 and 4 battalions with 75mm, and also a very heavy 21 centimeter mortar for corps support, of course. I mean, these anti-tank guns are not in Sean Taylor's book, but I mean, I have them, so I decided to place them here. The aircraft, we'll speak about that later. Regarding the usage of this thing and why are they mixed, because in 1916 the Germans introduced the Stahlhelm, and slowly the Pickelhaube started to be put aside. So for those big battles of Verdun, Somme, and Operation Brusilov against French, British, and Russians, you can still use both the Pickelhaube and the Stahlhelm, which gives you some liberty, some freedom for you to model these guys a little bit distinctively, and even from different brands, which is nice. At least it doesn't become that repetitive. So this is the reason why I'm choosing the year of 1916. Regarding brands, I mean, I've showed you before the artillery. Let's start with artillery. Everything is Irregular Miniatures, of course. As I've showed you in the previous video, the ones that came now are also Irregular Miniatures. Regular Miniatures. This one is an exception. This one is an, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's IT figures, if I'm not mistaken, metal gun, and the crew is AJT or HAT. I don't know how people say the name of the brand, but you know what I am saying, probably. So the Stoßtruppen here are all Revell here. So I realized when I made these guys that I had at least 10 boxes, because Only 3 came in each box, so there are 10 boxes here of Sturstruppen. These guys are mostly Revell and Emhar in this regiment here. Also a few AJT. That guy carrying a Lewis captured gun. All these guys here are Revell, and these are also mostly Revell. I have a little bit too many machine guns. Because if I want to use another, I mean, a more divisional or regimental level wargaming, I will need a few more. So, I mean, I'm disrupting a little bit the rule that Chantal created about giving several shots to the MG stands, which is in fact a clever idea. It doesn't clutter the battle the tabletop that much, but in fact I also like to see, especially the Germans that had plenty of machine guns. So another curiosity is this much darker um, shade of field gray compared to this one. You can see they are quite different, even if all of them are Revell. In fact, the Germans in late war they were using, more not as, I mean, some tissue that was not, of course, of great quality due to blockade and to the difficulty they had in raw materials, in grabbing raw materials, which is one of the causes for their defeat, of course, as everybody knows. So this tends to replicate a little bit the problems of the Germans in late war. I saw this colored in a French military magazine. Military magazine is very good about, as everybody knows, about uniforms in the 20th century conflicts. So disregarding the brands of the infantry, these ones here are metal. They are Britannia. Uh, there aren't many poses here. There is the rifleman, there is the officer on foot, the officer on horse, and there is the lovely set of 3 machine gunners. This command stand is a mix of several brands. There is AJT, there is Emhar also. This small truck is in fact a 15mm exception to the rule, but I couldn't resist making it because I had it for many years, and it's a very funny thing. From Irregular Miniatures, exactly. And the figures are not very bad because they are, these guys are around 18mm, so they go relatively well with 20mm figures. I mean, the truck, I can say the same. I can't say the same, but well, this was something I cheated a little bit. Now for the tanks. For the tanks, you have Airfix Mark 1, but converted to Mark 4. You have, for instance, plain green Mark 4, a male captured and repainted with Balkenkreuz painted on the main structures, on the side structure. Sorry, and there is a figure over there, which is in fact Emhar. Tank crewmen from a funny set they have in which they mix infantry and tank personnel, because they also Emhar also produces some tanks, as everybody knows. So this one is also the same, but it has a different camouflage because there is some very dark green camouflage on it. This guy here was more a little bit harder to do because I scratch built some of the sponsons you can see here to make the female version on the old Airfix kit, which the Emhar models and things still didn't exist when these ones were made. So I think I have around 15, 16 of these tanks distributed by British and Germans, and I made plenty of them as female. So I made one of these sponsons in evergreen, and I copied the other ones in resin. Okay, and also there is some railing here, which was also scratch built. This railing, of course, was important for the throwing of that wood bundle that would cover the enemy trench and would allow for the tank to cross. And this one is a different one. This fourth one is a different one because it is a hybrid. It has the 6-pounder and also the machine guns on the other side. So it is a crossing between the two main types of British tanks. These guys, are not accompanied with no A7V, because in fact the A7V was only built, only 20 were built. But on the other hand, 170 of the British tanks were captured. So Germans had far more British captured tank than their own manufactured German tanks. Now a word for the aircraft. You can see here a Gotha bomber in it is a kit. I don't know the origin. I mean, I remember ordering this thing many years ago from Hannans. It is a vacuum formed kit, and then there are some metal machine guns and some probably Revell or no Revell. Revell doesn't have well-run pilots. They must be all Airfix. But it's a very cute model, and also a little bit necessary for the bombing situations. There's an Albatross here of the famous one of the aces of World War I Germany, which was a guy called Baumer. He has the name of the guy of the famous movie, and I painted the Edelweiss on the fuselage. Okay, oops. Let's see if it focuses. It is. And this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a Revell model. These two are also Revell. This one is, I think, was the one from Ernst Udet, if I'm not mistaken, and this one was used by Manfred von Richthofen, and I think it was the one in which he died. In fact, I mean, this guy shot around 40 enemy aircraft. This one around 80, at least the ones that were counted, because probably Richthofen got to 120. Some sources say, and Sudet I don't remember, but also took down plenty of them. These Roland C2s, C11, sorry, Roland C11 are Airfix. This has a very colorful camouflage. This one here not that much. I finished it only last week, and I used the cover of the Airfix for not to lose too much time. I just painted the shark mouth that I saw in many places, and the eyes of the shark, which makes it quite terrifying. Finally, there is an AEG G5 bomber, another bomber like the Gotha, and this one is a kit with a total of 4 brands, because there is the vacuum formed kit. I don't know exactly the brand also, but probably if you look for it, it still exists, or maybe even a better version of this guy in as a full plastic model. Then there are the decals, there are the metal machine guns, and there are also the pilots from Airfix. So a total 4 brands to make this guy here. Quite troublesome, but also it ends up by being a very nice piece of kit. So here it is, the German infantry corps for the year of 1916, with the advantage of you can use a part of the infantry for the beginning of the war and the rest of the infantry for late war. So I hope you have enjoyed, and next we'll see a few French. Okay, bye bye. It was a pleasure. Bye bye.